Welcome to Everything House Music and More. And today's my special guest is the one and only Chicago legend, and I believe the biggest house record of all time, Mr. Marshall Jefferson. Move your body, man, huh?
How you doing, Maurice?
Brother, thank you for doing this, man. I appreciate you so much, brother.
We got it together. You know, I told you we would eventually make it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Marshall, are you ready to get into it, brother?
I'm ready.
All right, so here we go. This first question, I never asked anyone before.
Okay.
What is house music birth date?
House music's birthday.
Yes.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. I do. The earliest I heard of house music was probably in 1979.
Okay.
I had two cousins, Adrian and Cat Cat. They used to go to the warehouse, right? And they started playing. We were at a family get together. They started playing some First Choice, right?
Okay.
My cousin John said, "Oh, that's that old house music."
Now they said joking. House music back then.
They said house music back then, but Adrian and Cat Cat weren't calling it that.
Right.
Adrian was calling it something I think like rice and beans music, right? But Johnny called it house music as a derogatory term.
Okay.
You know, because it was known gay club.
Okay, the warehouse.
The warehouse. Right. That's that old house music, right? So I don't think people that actually went to the warehouse were calling it house music.
Yes.
You know.
Okay. So that's my next question. Where did you think the term house music came from? Because you have some of the pioneers say it came from people playing the disco funk in their basement of their homes.
That's the that statement is utterly stupid.
Okay.
Because who doesn't play music in their home?
Right.
You could be from Deep Woods, Tennessee, and you'll play music at home.
Right.
You can play jazz at home.
Right.
You can play classical at home. Everybody plays their music at home.
Right. So
right?
that's
so,
just that terminology where it came from.
If you play music in your car, do you call it car music?
Ooh.
No.
Marshall is preaching today.
No.
Y'all. So
you know, the term.
Hold on a second. Our lovely pioneer, Mr. Wayne Williams, quoted that. That's where the term came from, of people playing the music in their homes, disco and all these other things, and that's where the term house music came from.
He went to the warehouse.
Right.
He knew there was a club called the Warehouse.
Right.
He knew people were calling it house music for short.
Right.
Yet it was house music because people were playing it at their house.
Okay.
What kind of sense does that make?
So you say 1979, people were saying house music
as derogatory term, and it wasn't that popular. It was just me hearing it one time. My cousin Johnny said that.
Okay.
Right. So it wasn't widespread.
Okay. So so you tracking that to 1979. And
then, at least probably before that, but like some of the gangsters and some misogynistic people would call it that's old house music and stuff, right? You know, or maybe even some of the chosen few in Farley used that's that old house music, right? But anyway,
right.
You know, that as a derogatory term.
Okay, all right. So y'all heard it first right here from Marshall, y'all.
But that, as far as its widespread use,
yes.
it didn't become widespread until probably 83 or 84.
Okay.
Right? That's when Leonard Remix Roy started calling it house music.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now, Leonard, I suspect, called it house music because he was playing it at home or something like that.
Right.
Right. I'm playing house music. Right? But everybody else interpreted it as music that was playing at the warehouse.
Correct. Okay.
So that's where those converge,
right? Cross at each other. Okay. Well, we got some knowledge of that, and we're going to get into that deeper.
You need to get Leonard on here.
I got Leonard coming up pretty soon, man. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. So before the records, how and when were you introduced to house culture, Marshall?
I was introduced to house culture at the Music Box on Indiana. This girl named Veronica Montgomery took me there.
Okay.
You know, because she dressed different from the other postal workers. You know, sometimes she'd have pink hair or something like that,
right.
but she had Body by BAD, right? So I said, where you going partying like that? She said,
Right.
The Music Box, right? So I said, can I go with you? And she said, yeah, right? And, I just followed the body.
Right. Now, this was before you was doing any music too, correct?
No, I was already DJing.
Okay.
At that time, but I had more like hot mix 5 style of playing, right?
Oh, okay.
And that all went out the window when I went to the Music Box.
And what year was this, Marshall?
I'd say 1984 to be sure.
Okay. All right.
Right, 1984.
Right.
Very early
right.
1984.
And this when you was working at the post office still?
I was working at the post office.
And then you just said you wanted to go out to this Music Box.
Right. With Veronica Montgomery. We called her Lynn Montgomery.
Lynn Montgomery. Right. And during that time, what DJs were you really influenced the most by?
At that time?
Yes.
Kenny Jam and Jason.
Kenny Jam and Jason, okay.
Right? Then Farley, Jack Masterphone, when they finally allowed him to start scratching on air.
Right.
Man, Farley was a bad
B-side.
Man, Farley was ridiculous, man. Right. I said, oh my God, when they let him scratch on there and he started repeating, Farley. I said, oh man, that's the man right there, Farley. But I like all the Hot Mix 5, man. I like Ralphie, I like Mickey Mixon Oliver, Scott Smoker Sills, I liked all of it. But that was the greatest mix show I've ever heard on the radio,
Absolutely.
man. Nobody comes even close because they would mix 40 songs per hour, and they would backspin and repeat every single song. It was ridiculous, man.
So let me ask you
40
this.
songs an hour.
Do you think the Hot Mix 5 was more influential on house than Frankie Knuckles?
Than Frankie Knuckles?
Yes.
They sold more records than Frankie.
Okay.
Frankie fans didn't buy records. Okay. They listened to tapes of Jamie Principle.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, did you ever experience the warehouse?
The warehouse?
Yes.
See, that's the thing. I was talking to a friend of mine a while ago, Bernard Househead Howard. He said he took me to the warehouse. I don't remember going to the warehouse. So I'm going to deny it.
Okay.
Because I don't want any wishtory going on. Right?
That's your word, wishtory, right?
Wishtory.
Everybody pay attention to wishtory.
Wishtory is what you wish would have happened. Okay. I wish I would have went to the warehouse, but I don't remember it.
Okay. So you often talk about bringing your music to Ron Hardy at the Music Box.
Yes.
Can you describe that atmosphere and how Ronnie was so accessible?
He was so accessible. My first, when I gave him my first tape, I just it was a reel to reel of I've Lost Control and Under You. I gave it to him. Right. He didn't play it that night, and my hours at the post office were midnight to 8:30 a.m. So that canceled out Music Box hours for me. Yeah. So I didn't go back for another 6 months at least.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's my shift changed. My days off changed, would rotate. And finally, like 6 months later, I finally got to go back. But Sleazy went religiously to the Music Box. Okay. And he said, man, Ron Hardy played the stuff. He played the cuts, man. I said, he did. Right. So I kept making other cuts. Okay. And giving the tapes I gave the cuts to Sleazy. Right. Sleazy would give them to Hardy, and he said, man, Ron Hardy played that too. Right. So it had gotten up to like 7 cuts. I got there. I went with Sleazy,
Right.
and he got to the front door. Everybody, Sleazy, Sleazy walked right in. I tried to walk in. Right. Sleazy said he's with me. Right. So got in the music box. Man, Ron Hardy, he played all my songs. Right. Oh wow, that's great, Good. And they were stampeding the floor when I've Lost Control came on, right? They was yelling. That came on, everybody's
So Ronnie played that record first. You gave that to Ronnie first.
Yeah, I gave it to Ron Hardy first. Okay.
Now speaking of I Lost Control,
yeah,
you did that with the Roland TB303.
Yeah, I did
it with machine.
But Ron Hardy actually played the drum version, the drums only version.
Okay.
Right? He played the TB303 version once in a while, right. But everybody recognizes the drum machine version, the drums only version. Right? No, he didn't play the TB303 version that much. TB303 version got popular later.
Okay, but let's stay there. You used the Roland TB3 bass line.
Right.
That was way before Future and Acid Tracks, correct?
It was, I don't want to say way before.
Right.
It's about 3 years before.
3 years before, okay.
Yeah.
So in all actuality, we can say you started Acid House.
No. Okay. That's Wishtory.
That Wishtory, okay.
Right? Now, I tell you why. Because when I've Lost Control came out, nobody went out and bought a TB303. It only cost me $150.
Okay.
Right? And they couldn't give them away.
Right.
Right? It was a toy and stuff, right? When Acid Tracks came out, Bam Bam offered me $1,000 for my TB303. Mm-hmm. He went to make on all those Westbrook records with it, right? So, and it started a whole movement. Acid House, right?
Right.
I came back to England 6 months after it came out. First time I went to England, everybody was in suits in the clubs and stuff, right? I came back 6 months later, people were wearing smiley T-shirts going, acid, right? So Acid Tracks started the whole movement. Right? And like I said, everybody but the TB303 went up in value from $150 to over $1,000 and over $2,000, now over $3,000 and $4,000 for a TB303.
Yeah.
And that was a whole movement right there when Acid Tracks came out. So, when I did I've Lost Control, I wasn't really conscious of Acid House or anything like that. I was just making a cut with Sleazy. Right.
So we can just say DJ Pierre and Future was coined the term of that.
DJ Pierre and Spanky and Herb.
Okay. All right, cool. So Marshall, you're known for bringing musicality early to house. What was your musical background?
Listening to rock and roll and DJing.
Really?
Yeah.
So what made you get to DJing at an early age like that?
DJing at early? No, I didn't DJ at early. I didn't DJ until I was in my 20s and working at the post office. I had a good job. I was able to buy the top-notch equipment and everything. I was jamming in my basement, man. Nobody heard me.
Right.
Nobody heard me.
But in my last interview with Curtis McLean, Curtis was DJing before you?
Yeah, I believe Kurt was DJing before.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Kurt taught me all the Hot Mix 5s tricks that they were doing.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
Right? But I was already DJing when I met him.
Okay.
Right? And he taught me all the Hot Mix 5 tricks and stuff, Okay. Now I would like to say like Wishtory and say, yeah, I was always a DJ from when I was 5 years old. But no, I started DJing in my 20s at the post office. Bought all the best equipment, man. We were working at the post office, man. Me and Kurt, we had reel to reels, we had decks, we had great mixers and stuff
in the post office.
Not in the
okay,
post
okay,
office
okay,
at home.
okay.
We were making bank, man.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
making money, and I was spending $200 a week on records. You know, I'll go to imports, etc., and loop, and Chippy sold me records a couple of times.
Okay.
But most of the times I would trust my trusted people to buy records from were Frank Sells and Tony Mundaka.
At imports.
Yeah. At imports. And Jesse Jones over at Loop.
Oh yeah.
Jesse was the man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what led you to making your own music, Marshall?
Jesse Saunders.
Really?
Jesse Saunders. I would not have made a single record without Jesse Saunders.
Okay.
And Vince Lawrence. Now, it was the furthest thing from my mind making my own music. I was happy DJing, and I do like my girlfriend's parties or something like that. But I didn't get out the house much, right? But and plus work hours weren't compatible with party hours and stuff, right? It was a trade-off. I was able to get all the best equipment, but I couldn't play anywhere. I didn't have time to promote. And the couple of times I did try to promote my own party, Gucci and Punk House, they would tear down my posters, right? Oh, and nobody would show up except one time Mark Aguirre showed up.
Really?
But yeah, Mark Aguirre showed up. I'm going to bring back a whole bunch of people. I said, all right. Oh, he didn't come back though. But what happened was I was shopping at Loop Records.
Okay. And
I saw Jesse Saunders had put out a record, On and On, and it said hot, hot, hot. Jesse had put hot, hot, hot on there, right? I said, oh, let me get and see what Jesse had made, right? So I bought the record, took it home, and that's it, right? So I said, shit, I could probably do better than this, right? So while I'm thinking about how I'm gonna make a record and stuff, right? A friend of mine, he was a guitar player, Phil Lambert, right? He wanted to ride to Guitar Center.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll take you to Guitar Center. Right.
Right.
Went to Guitar Center. They were selling this thing called a Yamaha QX1.
Okay.
Right, so I said, wait a minute, because I'd gone down to Trax Records, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd spoken with Vince Lawrence, and Vince had told me about the QX1.
Okay.
So that's in the back of my mind.
Right.
So dude said, yeah, you can play keyboards like Stevie Wonder, even if you don't know how to play at all. Right?
He sold you automatically right there, huh?
Right?
Right.
So, long story short, I got a credit line together. Then I got on the house, right, to co-sign for some more equipment for me.
Okay.
So I bought the QX1.
Right.
Bought some keyboards, or Roland JX8P, a Korg. I forgot the name of the Korg. A Korg EX800 module.
Okay.
And there was this thing, a TV303, they couldn't give them away. Said, yeah, you could get this, man. You could do your own bass lines. I said, yeah, that's what I want to do, bass lines. Right? So I bought that, right? So also I got a Porta Ones, a Tascam Porta One. Yep. And said, yeah, you need a mixer too. I said, I got a mixer already. I'm a DJ, man. I got a DJ mixer. No, you said you need a recording mixer, Right. So I got this Boss 8-channel mixer. I said, 8 channels. Right. I said, yeah, you can hear 8 things at the same time. I said, yeah, that's what I want. I want to play 8 things at the same time, right? And so I got all this stuff, took it home, and my friends came over and talked about me for like about 5 hours. Stupid sucker bought all this stuff, don't even know how to play nothing. You know how black people, when they get to sing it, you feel like about an inch tall, man, when they get through it. But
you old when you said that singing on you.
Oh, man. Man. But I wrote my first song 2 days later.
Okay, and what was that?
I believe that was Under You,
Okay.
right? It was originally called the Pleasure Exchange, so
Okay.
right, but and then right, like my first 10 songs, I played all the instruments myself,
Right.
all the parts myself, and I was off.
Right.
I was off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have had the confidence to do that uh, if it wasn't for Jesse and Vince putting out that song, because they put out an actual record.
Right.
People don't realize how big that it was. When
Right.
people talk about the culture, bullshit. I mean, we had culture, we had stepping culture,
Right.
but stepping didn't leave stepping music didn't leave the city. People don't know what stepping music to this day is, and
Right.
you know why? Because there was no stepping records,
Right.
no stepping records.
Right. Right.
House music, we had house records, and that's why it left the city. That's why I got started. That's why Farley got started. That's why Chip got started. That's why Joe got started. That's why Steve Seal Hurley got started making music. All of us.
Yes.
None of us would have made a single record
Right.
if it wasn't for On and On.
Absolutely. Okay.
And now that's not wishtory.
No,
That's fact.
That's facts. Yeah.
You know?
So, what was your first release, and what label did it come out on?
My first release was Virgo Go Wild Rhythm Tracks, and that was on my own label, Other Side Records, OS1.
Oh, really? Now, who was
Right.
that distributed by?
It was distributed by Larry Sherman, right?
The trickery comes into play.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I didn't get any money for that,
Oh, wow.
and they're still selling it.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Who has the rights to it?
I have the rights to it. I mean,
Right.
I think I have the rights to it. I didn't sign any contract for it or anything like that, and
So
you
so
know.
Trax Records still putting a record
they're
out.
still putting a record out. They're still like claiming it.
See? After all these years, huh?
Yeah.
So Marshall, you known worldwide for making the House Music Anthem Move Your Body. Was that your biggest record to date?
Under my name, yes.
Okay. And how did that come about?
Okay. I heard the song in my head
Okay.
while I was working at the post office, because I'm working all night.
Right.
So I tell the fellas, I said, hey man, I got a cut and stuff, man. That because we would, we on the house, we would do cuts all the time, right?
Right.
We were like used to it by then. We'd done some nice stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I said, hey man, I got a cut, right? So I went home, I laid the keyboard parts, the basic dun 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 dun, dun and bass boom 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 boom, and I did the drums,
Okay.
right? And also the string part, right? Laid all that. And the way we did it back in the day,
Okay.
push one button on the QX1 and play back all the parts simultaneously.
Right.
So it took once you hook up the keyboard, it's taking less than 15 minutes to record the music.
Right.
Right. So On the House met me at the studio.
Okay. Now, who was on the house at the time?
On the house was me, Thomas Carr, Rudy Forbes, and Curtis McLean.
Okay.
Kurt was the lead singer because he was singing at the post office all the time.
Right.
So he was designated the lead singer. All dudes are singing, right?
Okay.
So got there. First thing I wanted to do was Rudy Forbes, keyboard player.
Right.
Rudy played the piano solo.
Okay. In the beginning.
Okay.
Right?
The intro piano solo. Okay. Once we did that, then Kurt had to sing the lead.
Okay.
Right. So he had a slight problem with because I thought that was the biggest part of the song, the Gotta Have House.
Right.
Gotta have house music. Right. He was like singing it on the wrong beat and stuff.
Okay.
So I said, no, dude, gotta have hot, right? Because I when it came in, I wanted it to burst,
Right.
you know. So, but he knocked it out,
Yeah.
right? So, Kurt did his thing. We got in there and we did the backgrounds.
Okay.
Me and On the House, and Kurt was in the back on the backgrounds too.
Okay.
So, we finished the cut. Said, don't let nobody hear it. They were telling me, don't let nobody hear it. Right? I'm thinking, this is the hottest shit I ever heard in my life. Right? I'm gonna let everybody hear this joint. Right? So they said, man, don't let nobody. It ain't finished yet. Oh man, I'm gonna give this straight to Ron Hardy at the music bar.
Right.
No. So no, I got the tape. He's gonna hear it.
Yeah.
Right? So we finished in the afternoon. Still hadn't been to sleep yet. And I said, well, I'm gonna make a pit stop. I'm gonna stop at the Sheba first, right? Because that's where Mike Dunn, Hugo Hutchison, and Tyree Cooper were literally living in the club. Right. So I knew they were always there. Right. So I went to them, played the cut on that system. Man, it's just banging, right? Yeah. And they weren't too excited about it. I guess because they were like used to me and used. They said, yeah, this is all right. It's all right. It's all right. Right. So, but they got it before Ron Hardy. Okay. Right. And then I took it down to the music box. I believe Joe Spoogel and Kay Alexi were there. Okay. And some of my other friends, and I played it on my car sound system. Right. And they weren't too excited about it either. That's all right. That's all right. Right. So I said, well, what's up? I thought this was the cut of cuts. Right. I mean, I was thinking, this is going to be a House Music Hall of Fame, and I'm going to be the very first inductee. Right.
They just blowing you down.
Yeah. So I gave it to Ron Hardy. Right. So Ron Hardy puts on the tape. You listen to it the headphones, right? So he plays it 6 times in a row.
That night,
right there.
Wow.
And they are going crazy by like the 3rd time he plays it, right?
Okay.
And it just blew up from there.
Right.
And yeah.
Now, how did that come about? No, you know what? Let's backtrack. I have one question to say. When the beginning of that record starts, it always feels like it's speeding up a little bit, like at the beginning.
No, that's the keyboard playing. That's Rudy's keyboard. It's out of time.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. Yeah.
But it's funky though. But he didn't play it in time.
Right.
He was man. He's playing keyboards at 120, and he's playing some difficult stuff, man. It's all
so
feeling.
That's why it feels like that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the drum machine ain't off. That's like, that's 122. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Right?
Okay.
But, but still, look.
Yeah. So
people sampled the hell out of that piano solo, too.
Yeah, absolutely they did.
So, look, he jammed on that.
Okay, so there are several versions of Move Your Body.
People sampled the hell out of Curtis McLean, too. He jammed, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know who sampled some of Curtis stuff, too. And so we're not going to go into that, though. But Marshall, there are several versions of Move Your Body, including the original vocal and the DJ International version. Tell us about how different are they, between the version between both of them.
Oh, man. Okay, here's what happened.
Okay.
Ron Hardy wanted an exclusive Move Your Body. Like, he wanted exclusive on all my stuff, so I didn't give none of my stuff to Frankie Knuckles. None of it. Right? Sleazy, however, didn't make such an agreement. Right. Now, Sleazy was king of the music box, right?
Okay.
He wanted to get in the power plant free with Frankie Knuckles, right? He wanted to get in the power plant for free, too.
Right.
So he took a copy to Frankie Knuckles and gave Frankie Knuckles a copy.
Oh.
That's how Frankie started playing it.
Okay.
Right? So then, Frankie Knuckles' best friend from New York was Larry Levan.
Okay.
Frankie sent a copy to Larry Levan. And back then, people would fly in to hear what Larry Levan was playing.
Right.
Because they knew it was going to be a hit, right?
Correct.
Distributors, all that stuff, right? So
right.
Larry Levan started playing it. Everybody knew about the cut, right?
Okay.
Somehow, Alfredo, now I've carefully tracked the trajectory of this, right?
Okay.
Alfredo from Ibiza got a copy of it.
Okay.
And he started playing it in Ibiza.
Okay.
Right? Some other DJs in the UK got copies. I don't know specifically which ones,
Right.
but they started playing it in the UK
This is all at the same time.
around the same time frame, right? So the next thing I know, I got people calling me from the UK, right, asking me about house music. Say, I thought it was my friends, like, you know, who the hell is this, right? You know, because they were talking with British accents, right? I said, oh, man, I don't, you know, you get the fuck, right? But they turned out to really be British, right? So I said, who the fuck? You know, and people like this guy, Jazzy M, he played on this pirate station in London called LWR, right? So, man, I would speak to him on the phone for like 3-4 hours.
Okay.
Long distance from London on his dime.
Wow.
Right? So I said, oh, man, I got to do something for this brother right here. You know, he was really interested. Right? So I sent him some house music, some unreleased house music.
Okay.
On cassette. You know, I had to send him Jamie Principle.
Right.
Jamie stuff. Steve Hurley's stuff, you know, because, you know, Steve was jamming back in the day. Like music is the key before the vocals got on it.
Yeah, the original, yes.
Yeah. I can't turn around with no vocals on it. But stuff like that, you know, it's stuff like the Larry Heard stuff, you know, all the, you know, right? And I would send that to him. Right. So, DJ International got a bunch of British reporters over at the same. They're like 10 of them, man, from Melody Maker, The Face, all the biggest magazines in the UK, flew over to the States to investigate house music. Right? They were interviewing me and Chip and Farley and all of us, man. Right? So, Rocky found out how hot Move Your Body was, and he wanted it for DJ International. Right? So when we recorded the DJ International version, we had a studio full of reporters. Right? And they were, you know, they were taking photos of us while we were doing it and stuff. And of course, that version of Move Your Body doesn't really have any backgrounds on it.
Oh, wow.
Because everybody started soloing. It was sloppy as hell, man. You know, move. Rudy was going, move your body, right? And I was going, dun, 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 you know, and you know, nobody was just saying, move your body, move your body. I said, oh, man, this is a mess right here. So that's the version that came out on DJ International. It was really sloppy. And you know, Kurt was the only one that kind of stayed in pocket, right? With the lead vocal. Yeah. And so
I never knew that was released though.
The DJ International, hell yeah, was released.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a separate version that was released on DJ International. Sloppy as hell, but it came out. But man, yeah, it's different. Some of the instruments I did a lot more stack on dun 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 dun, you know, dun 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 dun. I even like dun 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 dun. Right, so like, yeah, but man, the backgrounds are loose on that version, man. I mean, real loose. Recorded that at Paragon.
Okay, Paragon. Remember that studio. So there's rumor that back in the day, New Music Seminar in New York
Yeah.
that you went out there with a T-shirt said "Move Your Body."
Yeah, Marshall Jefferson, move your body.
And just promoting the hell out of it.
I was really promoting the hell out of myself.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't promoting the cut. Again, whiskery. Oh, I was promoting house music.
Right.
No,
So
I was
you were promoting yourself.
I was promoting me.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Well, that's the
I
truth
had
right
Marshall
there.
Jefferson move your body T-shirt on,
Right.
and everybody stopped me, man.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you did move your body. Yeah. So I got a lot of meetings and stuff from that. Yeah.
So, what was the second follow-up to Move Your Body?
The follow-up to Move Your Body, I had a couple. I had Pleasure Control, which came out on Bright Star. I had Ride the Rhythm, which came out on Tracks.
Okay.
You know, and then I did The Jungle with Jungle Ones, and I did you know, I later did Time Marches On, and yeah.
So you had a slew. So I believe on my last interview with Curtis McLean, he said Pleasure Principle was bigger than
Pleasure Control.
I'm sorry, Pleasure Control was bigger than Move Your Body out in the UK.
Whiskery.
Okay.
Get real. That's a house music anthem. You hear Pleasure Control today?
Right.
No.
Okay. So did you name that the House Music Anthem?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah.
You put that in there specifically.
Yeah, because too many people were telling me it wasn't house music because of the piano.
Really?
Yeah.
Who said that?
A few people, man. Most notably Larry Sherman and stuff.
Oh yeah, but I don't think he knew about music, man.
Well,
So
you know, so that was kind of a jab at them.
Right. Okay.
But after that, people started calling big records anthems.
Yeah.
They weren't calling big records anthems before the house music anthem.
Oh, there you go.
That's not whiskery.
That's not whiskery. Okay.
So just the title on that song had an impact on dance music.
Okay. So in a very short time, you went from Move Your Body to a major label project with 10 City. Can you talk about how 10 City was formed and how you were able to get it signed by a major so fast?
Okay. I started working with Byron and Byron Burke.
Okay.
And they decided the group name was going to be Ragtime. Right. So I met Byron down at Trax Records. I'd heard Funny Love.
Okay.
I thought it sucked, but I thought those were the coldest lyrics I ever heard.
Right.
Everybody's laughing at me, but there's nothing funny when your heart is broken. Right. Yeah. I still remember the words. That's
deep.
That's how heavy it was. Right.
Right.
I said, "Oh man, you're the coldest."
right.
So you know, I started working with Byron.
Okay.
Right. So I it just came together very natural, man. You know, very organic, and we just started doing cuts together. Now I can't stay away. You know, I thought, you know, Byron's a big man. You know, big dude, right?
Right.
Seems like he should have some more power than he's showing, because he was, you know, he wasn't singing diaphragm at that time, right? At least I hadn't heard him sing it.
Yeah.
Diaphragm. So on I Can't Stay Away, you know, he sang a note and it was high.
Right.
I found its power.
A falsetto.
You know. Maybe he knew he had it all along, because Byron was like very laid back dude. You know, he don't
Yeah. Absolutely.
He don't assert himself a lot of times, right? Well, it's quite the opposite now. He's way more aggressive than me, and I don't assert myself a lot. But back then, he didn't assert. I said, "Man, sing that note again. Hit that note again, beat it." I said, "Oh, damn!" Right? And power, man. Damn, right? And so we did it in a small studio, Lito's studio.
Okay.
And so, oh man, we got to do I'm going to take this to a 24-track studio. So we went to a 24-track studio. We got Lil Lewis and Ron Hardy and Frankie Knuckles to do mixes on it.
Right.
Right. and Frankie was there, man, and he's just sitting around and stuff. He heard Byron hit that high note. Cause Frankie, he don't show emotion like that, right?
Exactly.
Frank would, when Byron hit that note, man, is so. I said, man, people got to hear this note, right? Yeah. And that's why we took him on tour. That's why I brought him on tour with us. But I Can't Stay Away is out. It's doing okay, dude. Right? So we take Byron and Byron on the road with us. They did I Can't Stay Away and a song called The Rain Dance. Okay. Byron Burke would do the rain dance, right? So after we had 9 shows that weekend, in 2 days. After that, Byron said, "Hey man, why don't we stay like about a week and meet with some major labels?"
Right.
I'm not thinking major labels. That's not that's not in my reality.
Right,
man.
Right.
Major labels. That's what Michael Jackson's on. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about that. Right. So we stay. Byron's like busy calling up the majors and coordinating meetings with Dwayne Powell.
Right.
And next thing we got meetings, man. And the very first meeting we had was with this guy called Scott Folks.
Okay.
Man, went in there and Scott was sleeping on the floor.
Okay.
And I said, "Oh man, you slept here last night?" He said, "Yeah, this is my home." Right? I thought he was joking, so I laughed at him.
Right.
Big mistake, man. He actually did live in the office at Capitol Records.
Really?
He lived in his office. You know how sky high rent in New York City is?
Absolutely.
So we go there. We got no music, no photos, no press. Mm-hmm. He let us have it, man. He said, "You unprofessional motherfuckers come up here, waste my time." Man, man, he laid into us for like an hour, man. Me and Byron sitting there, we were sweating bullets like a 3-digit fever, man. We were, we're scared as hell. I was like, "I don't want to meet with no more major labels, man." Right? Oh man, Byron said, "Man, it'll be better than this." Oh man, I don't know, man. We had a meeting the next day with Merlin Bob from Atlantic Records.
Yeah.
Right. Merlin said, "I take whatever you got."
Oh wow. Okay.
Everything. He said, "You got something on release? I take that too." I take everything.
Yeah.
So, Byron walked out of that office. He had a choice between a solo artist deal or a group.
Right.
Well, group wasn't even on the table, But I said, "Well, I got a song with this guy CC Rogers. I got a song with this girl Kim Mazzell, and I take all of it, right?" So, Kim signed with EMI.
Okay.
CC signed with Atlantic.
Right.
They wanted Paris Brightledge for MCA to replace Colonel Abrams because Colonel Abrams had some problems.
Okay.
And, everybody wanted Kurt.
Right.
Everybody wanted Kurt. The guy that sang movie about it. Everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So, we get back and, we just say, "Hey, we got to come up with a cut for Atlantic so, you could get the deal."
Right.
So we just happened to go out on a double date with these 2 girls, Gigi and Cynthia.
Okay.
I got lucky, but he didn't. I was more famous at that time, right?
Okay.
So we were in the car. Byron decided to pull out his ace card because Cynthia wasn't giving him no rhythm.
Right.
So Byron started singing, right? And that's how we came up with Devotion. I said, "Oh man, you jamming, B, you jamming, right?"
Right.
So I went home.
Okay.
Came up with some music, put it under under devotion, gave it a Byron. Said, "What's that?" I said, "That song we wrote last night." Right. So, so he said, "Oh, all right," and that was devotion.
Wow.
So they wanted to sign it, and I said, he said, "I don't want to be a solo artist." I said, "Huh?" I said, "No, I always wanted to be in a group, man. I want to,
Right.
I always wanted to be in a group." And I said, "Well, who you want for the group?" He said, I'm gonna get Guitar Herb and Byron."
Okay.
I said, "So we're gonna split the money 4 ways now instead of 2?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Damn."
Right. Oh man. Byron. Right.
Yeah. So that's how that came about.
That's how it came about.
Byron attended all the meetings with me, so he could have signed with anybody.
Correct.
Anybody he could have signed with, right? And they hadn't even heard him sing yet.
Wow. And they just signed him all up.
And man, maybe if they would have heard how he sang, he would have gotten a bigger deal.
Wow.
But
so you guys went with Atlantic at that time?
Went with Atlantic because Merlin was on the radio. He loved our stuff, and But
now let me ask you this:
Byron, man, when Merlin heard his voice, man, it's over. So,
now on Devotion, Frankie Knuckles did a remix of that too.
Frankie Knuckles did a remix.
It never got put out.
It never got put out.
Okay. See,
they put out the Bam Bam mix instead.
Yeah. Because I remember when that record came out, Frankie was spinning in the suburbs at that time.
Yeah.
And he played that record. He was like, "I just did this record."
Yeah.
And I never forget, man, that day I thought it was an old record. I thought it was something where I actually, because I went up to the booth like, "What is this?" He was like, "This is 10 City from Chicago." He's like, "If you go get a tape deck, I'll make a dub for you right now." Man, I left and went to go get my pitch deck, and I brought it back up there, man.
You still got a copy of it?
I still got a copy of it. Bro.
Oh, you got to let me get a copy of that, the Frankie Knuckles Devotion mix.
Yeah.
Oh.
I still got a copy of it.
Oh, you got to give me that, bro.
Of course I will. For a few more interviews.
See, I got these tidbits laying all over the place. I gotta get a copy.
Now, Marshall, your production were a lot more complex than typical house records at that time. Did you have any creative pushback when you wanted to do live instrumentation and the complex arrangements at that time?
No, man, because nobody really knew what we were doing. You know.
Right.
See, for me, it was like a pushback against. I didn't want us to be stuck in a mode where we're doing just a 4/4 kick and jack, rapid fire sampling, right? Yeah. So I revolted against that because I knew what house music was to me.
Right.
What is house music, you ask?
Yes.
House music is the best and coolest dance music.
Okay.
And it's anything that Ron Hardy or Frankie Knuckles would have played. For instance, Frankie wouldn't have played "I'm Too Sexy." Frankie wouldn't have played the Macarena.
Okay.
It's not house.
Right.
It's got all the elements of house, but it's not house, is it?
No, it's not.
Right? You know house music when you hear it. It's anything that Frankie Knuckles would have played or Ron Hardy would have played. That's my format. That's always been my format. So that's how I tried to expand the genre. It's like Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, right? Okay. It's a martial arts style without a style.
Right.
That way you could go versatile with it. You know, it don't have to have a Fender Rhodes on it. Right. It don't have to have a piano on it. It could have anything on it, right? And that would give us flexibility. Okay. But see, my problem was every time I got a little bit of money, I'm done making it. I'm the classic underachiever, right? I'll make a clump of cuts, right?
Right.
Get a lot of money, and I said, "Oh man, I'm done." Okay,
all right, you going back to the video games? Huh?
Yeah, video games and partying and stuff, man. And it's that was that, right? So I get a little bit of money, I quit for a year or two, or, get a little bit more money, I quit for 4 years, and, I get a little bit more money, I quit for 6 years, and that's been
That's
my
not good,
mantra,
Marshall.
right? That's
good.
not good. I know it, man, but like, you know.
So how was your overall experience with at Atlantic?
Well, I thought it was good, man. Personally, I mean, I got some big records out of
Right.
Atlantic. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So it is rumored that you have been outspoken about remixing. One of your major successes was the part due of Steve Sir Curly remix. How do you feel about the remix at that time?
This is my gripe, right?
Okay.
I turned down a lot of remixes.
Right.
Because I felt, well, they were getting the sound for cheap.
Yeah.
Motown didn't do any remixes. Philadelphia didn't do any remixes.
Right.
If you wanted the Motown sound, you had to go to Motown. If you wanted the Philadelphia sound, you had to go to Philadelphia. Right? I wanted that for Chicago. Now, remixes, I thought that they were getting a song for cheap, which meant eventually they wouldn't respect it.
Preach.
So they were offering a lot of money for remixes back then too.
Yes, they were.
And I like money, as much as everybody, right? But see, when artists would come to me and say, we want a remix, I turn them down.
Right.
I say, I'm writing and producing you, or no deal.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
That was it. Work. And if they was dead set on remix, I said, well, you got to get Steve Hurley out of Chicago, because man, Steve was like the most professional, efficient mug I ever met in my life.
Absolutely.
Man. You need a remix by Friday, Steve would have it done by Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Professional, man. Yeah. One time, Steve did a show tape for me, right?
Yeah.
It was Move Your Body, Ride the Rhythm, and Pleasure Control.
Right.
He did a show mix for us.
Okay.
In a little over an hour.
Right.
Right. So that was with Phil and Frank.
Yeah.
We left Phil and Frank and tried to recreate those edits Steve did.
Couldn't do it.
15 hours later. 15 hours later.
Right.
Wasn't even close.
Right.
15 hours of editing. And I made the cut.
Right.
Steve did those edits. He snip. That's when he was actually
slicing,
cutting tape, right? It wasn't no computer editing. He was splicing the tape, man.
Yep.
Amazing, man. Yeah. Amazing, brother, man.
Right. That's good. But you know what? That's great that you say that, because they don't respect remixes, And you're right about what you said, though.
I wanted everybody to get publishing checks, man.
Right.
But I just felt, man, they weren't going to respect the sound. They weren't going to promote it on the radio, and unless we did songs.
Yeah.
Unless we wrote songs.
Absolutely.
So that was my gripe against remixes.
No, that's
not
just due.
Not
just due.
Mind you, I play remixes. I love remixes, but it killed us, bro. Yeah. It killed our income.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I
eventually,
agree with you a little bit on there.
When they first started offering money for remixes, like 20 grand, 25 grand, 50 grand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's hard to turn that.
It's hard to turn it down, man. That's
hard
what I did
to turn
for
it down,
years,
man. And, but Mo.
Yeah.
You're a songwriter.
Yes, sir.
You're a songwriter.
Yes.
Right.
It is. I mean,
it's a shame, man.
I agree with you on that too. But like you said,
you're a Grammy winner.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Grammy-winning songwriter.
But when you got to feed
We
your
should have
family,
wrote songs, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we still doing that, but I see what you're saying, though, Marshall.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I understand everything that you're saying on there.
Now, I could understand somebody else that can't write songs, but you can write songs. Right. So and Hurley can write songs, too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
yeah. He should have wrote some songs, man.
Yeah. That's true, too,
professional he is, man.
It's all good.
It's a shame.
So let's get technical.
Yeah.
What are some of the signature gear that helps make the Marshall Jefferson sound? Let's go for our tech heads.
Okay. Signature Marshall Jefferson sound. Roland JX8P for the bass sound and the strings and the pads.
Right.
That beats that. Any drum machine, really.
Okay.
I guess only JX8P if you talk about signature, but like I used Sterling Voice ESQ1 for It's All Right.
Right.
And let me see.
And that was a huge record.
Yeah, it was big overseas. Not many people know it in Chicago though. But drum machine's always negotiable. I could get over.
You can get over and use anything with that.
Use anything, but the MPCs are especially funky.
Okay.
And the SPs, the
1200,
the 1200s. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Really, really, really funky drum machines.
Okay.
And that swing on there, man.
Oh yes, outrageous. Yeah. So Marshall, as one of the genre's pioneers and visionaries, where do you see house music's future?
Okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Right? When I first came out, there were like about 500 dance records a week coming out.
Right.
Right? I got word earlier this year that there are 100,000 records a day coming out.
Wow.
Right? It was pretty bad 10 years ago.
Right.
But what that means is you got no more hits.
Correct.
None. People, DJs get bored with songs after a week. They won't play hits.
Yeah.
Right? More than once. And out of that gigantic pool of 100,000 songs, got some jamming ass records in there that nobody's ever going to hear because no DJ on the planet can listen to 100,000 songs per day.
Right.
He's not going to know everything.
Right.
Right. So that's the main obstacle you got.
Yeah.
Is getting out of that gigantic pile of 100,000 songs a week, 400,000, the 100,000, 700,000 songs a day, 3 million songs a month.
Yeah.
How are you going to get out of that pile?
Right.
Right? Now, there's, I got a couple of ideas that nobody ever listens to.
Okay.
But the first one is easy, but, you got to come out on a major label and get promoted. But other than that, you have to have an image as an artist.
Right.
Because nobody's going to listen to your music. Nobody's going to know who to look. If you're not a known name on TrackSource or Beatport or one of the other sites, nobody will ever hear you because they're going to search for producers, or labels,
right?
And that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Some have producers and recognized labels, right? So they'll say, "Hey, I'm looking for some of that smooth Maurice Joshua stuff, right?
Right.
Boom. All the top producers and stuff. But you have to make your own name.
Yeah.
Right. You need an image. You can't look like everybody else.
Correct.
Got to look strange, so everybody, who the, you know.
Is that true though? You got to look strange, Marshall.
You can't look ordinary.
Okay.
No matter how talented you are,
right?
If you don't stick out of a crowd,
right.
Nobody will ever hear you, because there's
Wow.
100,000 songs per day,
right,
coming out.
Right.
And I haven't met a DJ yet that can listen to 100,000 songs a day.
Not a day. No, come on now.
You know.
Yeah.
So you know, people look for who they know.
Right.
Right.
So you think the future looks grim for us, huh?
The future looks grim, but for house music.
Right.
Because we've run away from the kids.
Yeah.
If we would have stayed going after high schools,
right.
Because everybody remember back in the day, all the high schools were into it.
Yeah.
You know, so you had the kids into it.
Right.
Now, we're creaking, brother.
Yeah.
We up there. We like 70 years old. We're like 70 years old up in there. Ugh.
So these young kids, hip hop kids that do up tempo hip hop, you don't consider that as house either?
The up tempo hip hop?
Yeah.
Well, some of it may be cool. You look, if Ron Hardy would have played it,
right,
or if Frankie Knuckles would have played it, it's house.
I mean, that's such
that's
vague. I know that's your opinion.
That's my
because I'm
opinion.
just saying they play some records that was out of the ordinary, but it's other DJs out there will do that threshold and do different type of music. You know.
Okay.
So let me ask you this: as hip hop celebrates its 50th anniversary and emerges between hip hop and house, do you ever think your records that you did, like Hercules, 7 Ways to Jack, Sleazy D, would you ever consider those like hip house records?
No.
That
would be wishtory.
But I'm just saying,
wishtory.
You didn't call it like that, but hip-hop you did rap on some stuff like that, or was just spoken.
I didn't consider it rapping. I was just talking.
So it's talking.
It's talking.
Okay.
Now I'd like to say I did the first hip house record. Right. That would be wishtory. Understand? No.
So that's not it, huh?
That's not it.
Wow. Come on, Marshall. You gotta have something there, man.
No. I'll leave that to Tyree and Fast Eddie. You know, Fast Eddie used to live 2 doors down from me.
Right. Well, everybody used to live over here on 63rd and Artesian, man. So
no, Fast Eddie lived next to me when I was living on the west side.
Okay.
That's when Sterling Void was living with me.
Right.
Fast Eddie lived 2 doors down. Lil Lewis used to come over all the time. Byron came over all the time. A lot of people don't know I used to live on the west side.
Yeah.
I used to live on the west side. Fast Eddie even sold me his trumpet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
So Marshall, check this out. Name one Chicago house record you wish you would have done based strictly on being creative, not sales wise, but a record that you heard that was from Chicago and you was like, man, I wish I would have made that record.
If you say not sales wise, then that takes a big chunk out of it, brother.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, we all not supposed to do this for the money. We all know we have to be creative. But give me something at the time, because at
the same time, or
no, this could be any record that you wish that comes
out of Chicago.
Mind. Yeah, that you heard and was like, I wish I would have made that record. Because for me, it'd be like, I wish I would have made Move Your Body. Simple fact.
It'd be between 2 records. Jamie Principle, Your Love.
Okay.
And Joe Smooth, Promised Land.
Ah, okay. Okay, that's good. See?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Chicago is known for its myth and beef, Marshall. What Chicago-based house beef or myth do you want to squash or correct, past or present?
A beef?
A beef? A myth? Yeah.
Myth?
That got your name out there that you want to clear up.
About a myth about me?
Yes, something about you.
I don't know, man. What myths are out there about me?
Well, I'm okay. Let's go back. If you saw the Curtis McLean episode,
Oh shit! Oh, here you go.
so I'm just saying, is there anything you want to clear up from what Curtis was saying?
Oh, well, beef, myth.
Or misquote, however you want to delegate it.
It wasn't so much misquote or anything like that. It's just a lot of wishtory went on there.
Okay.
You know, a lot of wishtory, misinterpretation of what people were, what I was feeling. You know,
right.
I wasn't trying to sabotage him or anything like that. You know, I was just producing other people, and him and Rudy were insulting me all the time, you know, because my name went on Move Your Body and theirs didn't.
Right.
Which I understand.
Now, was that purposely, or was that one of Larry Canadi moves?
It was Larry's move.
Okay.
But no matter how many times I tell him, it like hitting a rock, you know. So you took our names off.
I told him, like, you know, Larry's known for that, man. He did it with us, so I know what he can do.
And there's nothing I can tell him
right
to convince him otherwise.
Yeah.
Even though Larry told him this himself, and it's on that video that Larry told him himself that he put my name on it. Okay. It's on that. Go back and watch.
Right. Okay.
Right. When people are jealous of your success, sometimes, you know, they get a little bit hostile towards you, right?
Okay.
Reason I stopped working with Kurt is I felt they were, him and Rudy were, you know, hostile towards me.
Okay.
He'll never admit it, but everybody around me saw. Byron saw it, you know, Kim saw it. You know, but like, I said, I don't need this shit. I just got 3 major label deals, you know, fuck them, you know. So I mean, that's, you know, that's why you don't need somebody like giving you negative energy all the time, right? So I say, you know, when you had Kurt on there, I said, oh man, this dude's had negative energy for me this all these years, over 3 decades. He's had this negative opinion of me, and he's blaming me for his life. And I said, nah, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
But you guys talked about it.
Yeah, we
talked about it. And, you know, hopefully,
and I even had some creative suggestions for his career.
Right.
But you know,
well, maybe you think we would see Marshall Jefferson and Curtis McLean record again?
You never know, man. He was on my last album that I just did. You know, we re-recorded "Move Your Body."
Right.
You know, you never know.
Okay.
All right. But like he don't want to speak to me anymore.
Okay.
And you know, I've asked Harry D a couple of times for his number, but he's scared to give it to me and stuff.
Well, you know what? I'll give it to you, man, because I want to see you get brothers.
No,
I want to see you brothers.
I want
together.
him to give it to me.
Oh, you want him? Okay, so
no,
Curtis,
it's all right because you know
you're hearing this right now. Please call my brother Marshall Jefferson, please. Thank you very much.
Call me up. Although,
if you don't have Marshall number, just call me and we'll work this out, brother. So Marshall, we coming towards the end. Is there anything you want to tell the audience right now?
Well, with the pressure on like that, I don't know exactly, but no, it's just fundamentally on a house music tip.
Yes,
we need more songwriters.
Okay,
right. I would say stop doing the remixes because it's just too crowded out there now.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yeah.
And it does nothing for you now.
Okay.
If you do a remix on somebody, you know, you won't get any recognition.
Right.
Because it's just too many of them out there. So promote yourself as a DJ, and get out there, do an album,
right?
A whole album on yourself.
Yeah.
Singles are nothing.
I believe that too.
You know,
yes.
You got to do a whole album on yourself and promote yourself as an artist.
Right.
I don't care if you're a DJ and you don't do any music or vocals. Neither did Frankie Knuckles. Right. And he did an album.
Yeah. You
have to do a whole album on yourself, put your personality out there, and promote that whole album so that when somebody finally does hear you, they don't just hear one song. Right. They get into you as an artist, and that's really the only way I see forward for house music is if we get proper artists, not just DJs. I'm talking about singers too. Yeah. Artists. Promote yourself as an artist.
That's good. That's good, brother.
And that's the only thing I can say.
All right. Hey, listen, brother. I love you. Thank you for doing this, man.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's something like I looked up to you, man. I ever since you did your first record, everything I used to go to and buy and look and be like, Marshall, I was a fan. I'm still a fan to this day. It was a great honor working with you on the last 2 albums in 10 City, man. And it was always a dream of mine. So like I said, people, if you're out there, y'all can dream big. Like Marshall says, make sure you brand yourself, brand your label, brand your name, brand your artistry so you can go out there and get put out there. Once again, thank you, Marshall. This was a very nice episode of Everything House Music and More.
Well, thanks. I hope I didn't engage in too much wishtory.
No, that's I'm gonna pop that on the screen. That's gonna be the new thing, wishtory. We're gonna put that in there.
You better not do it while somebody's talking, man.
So if something we don't seem right, we're gonna put that flashlight up there. Wishtory.
Wishtory, man.
So everybody, please subscribe, hit the notification button, subscribe to Everything House Music and More. Go look at Marshall Jefferson on his Facebook page, Instagram. You'll see where he's coming up to next. And just stay tuned for the future of Marshall Jefferson.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Peace out.
All right, peace out.